Hail brothers! Connie here with a review of the strategy game Crusader Kings II for Mac and PC. Crusader Kings II, or CK2 for short, is a freeform game, allowing you to play major or minor rulers from the late and high Middle Ages. The game is defined as a grand strategy game, and it's played entirely on a map. CK2 revolves around individual dynasties. Paradox Games, the creator of CK2, is well known for other similar games like Europa Universalis and War of the Roses, which focus primarily on other parts of war, like policy. One of the unique things about CK2 is the lack of a story and win condition. Part of the fun of the game is trying to decide what you want to do. Do you want to min-max every character and take over the world? Awesome! Want to start as a lowly count and work your way up to Sultan? Great! Want to start as an emperor with awful characteristics and roleplay your way to the destruction of your empire? Cool! Every character has stats and characteristics which impact those stats. Characteristics also impact the way the people around you see. Your subjects will obviously like a generous ruler more, but your liege may not like you so much if you're too ambitious. The game is extremely in-depth, and you can handle or join fractions, assassinations, etc. There's really too much to talk about in such a little review, but just take my word for it that you have a lot of options. But as fun as the game is, learning to play the game is a huge pain. The controls are, frankly, unwieldy and hard to learn. Good thing the game allows you to pause when you make decisions, otherwise I would have spent my first 3 hours discovering exactly what it's like to lose everything. But one of the great parts of playing this game is the active modding community. This can either alleviate some of the stress of playing, or make things harder for you. One of my favorite mods is a keyboard shortcut mod that I almost always have on for more ease of use. But fully expect to spend at least an hour trying to figure everything out. And that being said, it's extremely addicting to pick up after you pick it up. Gameplay is similarly complicated. This is mostly a text and map-based game, meaning you're going to spend a lot of time hovering over icons to see modifiers. There are a lot of things to keep in the air, from combat modifiers to stats and combat terrain that affect your usefulness on and off the battlefield. A good player keeps all of these things in mind at once, so fully expect to stink for a while. I certainly did. Every religion or culture has different bonuses. The pagans can take concubines, while the Christians have to handle making illegitimate children the old-fashioned way. Muslims and pagans are limited to certain types of succession, however, so it's important to remember that each culture and religion has its disadvantages as well. One of the surprising things about the addictiveness of the game is how bare bones the infrastructure is. There's simply not a lot going on in terms of graphics, just a map and a page for each character. One of the cool things is that the interface changes, not entirely mine, just the style of it, based on what kind of character you're playing. Muslims, pagans, all sorts of different people all have different interfaces. But just because it's hard to learn, don't think it's not extremely fun to play. Though there's a lack of a hard win criterion, one of the best parts of this game is the ability to write whatever kind of story you want for your characters. Have you ever plotted to kill your firstborn son so your more successful secondborn can rise to the throne? Have you ever married your liege's daughter, then destroyed his son so she would rise to the throne and then take over yourself a couple of generations later? I have. It's fun. And with that, let's break down the score. I can't really rate the story in this game because it's what you make of it, and the flexibility means it's impossible to grade the situation. What you get out of it is what you put in. This is essentially a sandbox with no missions, but I can personally tell you, I enjoyed it all. Design gets a 7. It's convoluted, so be prepared to struggle a little bit when you start. Gameplay gets a 9. It's complex, but after you get over the learning curve, most people really appreciate and enjoy the entire thing. Presentation gets a 7.5. It's bare bones, but the point of the game like this is to be like a chessboard for your enjoyment, so I can't per se it particularly matters. Replay value gets a 10. It is phenomenal. There is so much to do in here as long as you are creative about it. The presence of a huge fan base and active modding community, as well as a large amount of DLC, means you're going to have a lot to do for a long time. And so, I give Crusader Kings II an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this game, but it's not for everyone, and my score has to reflect that. But if you love strategy games, and I suspect you know who you are, this game will be right up your alley.